Hello students, so we are learning today something called as matrices. It's a really simple and a really interesting topic of standard 10. Okay, so basically 3 plus 4. So this is like the mark scheme is expected in your board paper. Either 3 would be in compulsory or else in section B, or else 4 would be vice versa. Like 3 or 4 would be in section A and the other question would be in section B. So at least one question has to be there in section A from this topic matrices. Okay, now what exactly is matrices? So generally they are denoted something like this way, like some arrangement of the numbers, some particular type of arrangement. So like there are four numbers, then they are written something like this. If there are three numbers or two numbers or one number, so some numbers have been written in some particular order or in particular form. So look at this. The question is classify the following matrices. So first of all, let's understand what exactly is matrices and what are the types of matrices. Then we can do this question. Okay. So let's begin with this. So what exactly is matrices? Matrices is some arrangement of the numbers. So generally they are denoted with capital alphabet, let's say A or B or any capital, any alphabet which is in capital letter. Okay. Then they are generally denoted with a square bracket. So let's say I'm just taking any two numbers, 1 and 2. Okay. Or else you can say matrix B is something like this. Okay. Or root 2 and root 5, something like this way. Okay. Or matrix C is something like this, like 1 0.2 3 1 by 2 5 negative 6 or 5. Okay. Now you cannot just write like this, like incomplete rows or incomplete columns. So you'll have to take rows complete and columns complete. So suppose you have five, then there has to be six and any number, like let's say a any variables that will do. But the rows and the columns should be complete. Okay. So I hope you understood by now what exactly is matrices. Matrices is some arrangement of the numbers in the rows or in column manner. Okay. Now, what is rows? Okay. Before I'll go ahead with the rows and columns, you should understand. See, there can be any types of numbers, like any types of number in terms of, like, say, whole number, natural number, zero, positive number, negative number, रूट नंबर, फ्रैक्शन नंबर, डेसिमल नंबर, वेरिएबल, कुछ भी हो सकता है यहाँ पर, ऐसे भी हो सकता है. I'll take one another example of matrix, let's say. Okay, I have already taken. Okay, matrix Q is, I'm just taking some random example. A plus B the whole square, tan theta, uh, say any variable theta, and then it can be like, say, tan square theta. Okay, can be tan square theta. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Are you getting it? So matrix means, say, like some function or some numbers or some type of number arranged in the rows and in the column manner. I hope you understood. Now, I hope you understood what is matrices. Now, what is the rows and columns? This is very important things. Rows and columns of matrices. Okay, what do you mean by rows and columns of the matrices? I'll just show you with the rows and columns of the matrices. So suppose if this is the example, I'll just copy paste this example over here. Control C, and I'll just do this over here. Control V. Okay, so this is like, so there are how many columns in this case? So look at this. This is column 1 and this is column 2. You understood? And how many? That is a row 1 and row 2. I mean to say a row 1 and row 2, not column 1 and column 2. This is a row 1 and this is row 2. And how many columns are there? So this is column 1. You can say this is entire column 1. So you understood? So what is R1? Root 2. What is R2? Root 5. And what is column 1? Root 2 and root 5. You understood? So this is row 1, this is row 2. Okay, I'll take one another example so that you can understand in better manner. Look at this. This is the example I have chosen over here. So control C, I'll just take it down. And what are the rows and columns we are learning, isn't it? So in this matrix, say there are how many rows and how many columns? Look at this. This is first row. So this is row one, isn't it? This is row two, and this is row three. I hope you understood what is row one, row two, row three, and this is column one. Okay, this is column one, and this is column two. These entries are called as column two entries. These entries are called as column three, isn't it? So, how many rows and how many columns are there? That is called as order of the matrix. I hope by now you understood what is columns and rows in the matrix. Now the next topic is what is order of the matrix. What is order of matrix? Order of matrix would become number of rows, number of rows. Remember that rows come first into number of columns, number of columns. Okay, number of rows into number of columns. So that is order of the matrix. Now in this case, what is the order of this matrix? So what is the order of matrix B? Matrix B's order is two rows into how many columns? One column. What is the order of these matrix? Order of this matrix would be order of matrix C will be C can be written as three rows by three columns. Isn't it? There are three rows, R1, R2, R3. And there are how many columns? Column 1, column 2, column 3. So there are 3 by 3 matrix. So this is 2 by 1 matrix and this is 3 by 3 matrix. I hope you understood by now. That's nice. Fantastic. I hope you understood till here perfectly. Now, before going ahead, I want you all to copy paste this everything quickly in a book. So by now we learned three things. What is matrices? What are the rows and the columns of the matrices? And third thing is what is order of the matrix? What is the order of the matrix? Number of rows into number of columns. So these horizontal things are called as rows and these vertical things are called as columns. I hope the things are very clear to you all. And now once you're done, you can pause the video here, copy paste everything, and we will go ahead and then thereafter. Okay, students, now we're learning something called as types of matrices. Okay, one second, hold on. Types of matrices. There are various types of matrices. Something called as first one is row matrix. Row matrix. What I mean by a row matrix? There will be only one row. Have I written over here any row matrix? Yes. So uh, A is called as row matrix. Control C and I'll just copy paste downside. Okay. So there would be only one row. So this type of matrix is called as a row matrix. There is only one row you can say. Okay. There is only one row. There is only one row. Second one is called as what is second type of matrix? Yes, very good. Half of you have already guessed. Column matrix. What do you mean by column matrix? Let's say B is a column matrix, like 1, 2, 3, something like this. Way. Now, don't draw the lines over here, okay? These are not fractions. These are just 1, 2, and इसके नीचे 2, and इसके नीचे 3, and any random numbers you can say. So this is called as column matrix. So what is column matrix? There is only one column. There is only one column. Okay. Next one is what is the third type of the matrix? Singular matrix. What is singular matrix? Singular matrix. So singular matrix means there is only one entry. Like matrix A is written as like this, 0, or the matrix B is written as just root 2. So this is called a singular matrix. Only one entry. Okay. Then there is next one, fourth one. You can say identity matrix. Identity matrix. Generally, it is denoted with letter I, capital letter I. Okay, and now it has been denoted as like this: one, or else you can say 1001 if it is 2 by 2. If it is 3 by 3, 100 010 001. So these diagonal, the principal diagonal, okay, this diagonal is called as, okay, look at this. This diagonal is called as, one second. The diagonal entries are always one, if you'll notice. So this is called as principal diagonal. Okay, this diagonal is always called as principal diagonal. I'm so sorry. It is going little down. This is called as principal diagonal, and these diagonal entries are always one. And apart from that entries, other entries are zero. So what is identity matrix? I hope you understood. It is generally denoted as I. Okay, it is 1 by 1 matrix. This is 2 by 2 matrix, and this is 3 by 3 matrix. This is 1 by 1 identity matrix. This is 2 by 2 identity matrix, and this is 3 by 3 identity matrix. Okay, what is identity matrix? Identity matrix is very, very important. Principal diagonal is 1. Principal diagonal entries are 1, and others are 0, and others are 0. You understood? इतना ही simple है. What is identity matrix? Principal principal diagonal entries are 1 and other entries are 0. I hope you understood. And identity matrix is always square matrix. Identity matrix is always square matrix. Identity identity matrix is always square matrix. Is always square matrix. So once you are done with this writing, let's move ahead with the next uh, type of matrix. Can you guess what will be the next type of the matrix? Yes, correct. What is square matrix? What is square matrix? Now the number of rows is same as number of columns. Number of rows is equal to number of columns. Means what? Number of rows is same as number of columns means matrix A would be 1, or matrix B would be 1, 2, 2, 1. The number of rows are always same. Matrix C would be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 5. Anything. I'm just taking some random number. You understood? So this is called as 1 by 1 matrix because 1 row and 1 column. This is 2 by 2 matrix because 2 rows and 2 columns. This is 3 by 3 matrix. That is called as square matrix. What is square matrix? Number of rows, 1 row, and number of columns are also same. 1 column, 2 rows and 2 columns, 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, what is the next thing is? Okay, we finished, I guess, by now. Just fourth one, isn't it? Or fifth one we finished. Sixth one, what is sixth type of matrix? Rectangular matrix. Rectangular matrix. What is rectangular matrix? This chapter will come again in standard 12, and that time it will be huge. Like there would be singular matrix, and then there would be many more things like triangular matrix, upper triangular matrix, lower triangular matrix, symmetric matrix, skew symmetric matrix, and many more things will come. But right now there are very limited types of matrices. Okay, what is rectangular matrix? Number of rows is not same as number of columns. Number of rows is not same as number of columns. Okay, what do you mean by number of rows is not same as number of columns? Like matrix A would be something like this: 1, 2. So there are 2 rows and 1 column. 2 rows and 1 column. So the number of rows is not same as number of columns. Or matrix B would be something like this: 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 1. So there are 3 rows and 2 columns. है ना? So in this case, these are called as rectangular matrix. Okay, very simple chapter and very easy to understand all these things. I hope you understood all these things. Okay, so by now what we've learned, what are the types of matrices? In case if you have understood everything, superb. So you can just check your notes whether you have written or not. Row matrix, column matrix, singular matrix, identity matrix. They are denoted with I. Then there is something called as square matrix and rectangular matrix. Okay. I hope you have understood everything till here perfectly. And then now, if you have completed writing all these things, it's good. If you have not, you can pause the video over here and copy paste it quickly. Hurry. So I hope you finished, understood everything. What is matrices, what is the rows and column matrix, and what is the order of the matrix, and what is types of matrices, and you written everything. And now we will be able to answer this question. Classify the following matrices. So what are the classify means you have to write what is the type of matrix. So students, can you guess what is this type one? So this is called as square matrix, isn't it? This is called as square matrix. What is this called as? Obviously, there is only one row, so it is called as row matrix. What is this called as, guys? This is, of course, there is only one column, so it is called as column matrix. You know, what is this called as, guys? This is there are two. Okay, there are three rows and there are two columns, so this is called as rectangular matrix. Why it is called as rectangular matrix? Because the number of rows and number of columns are not same. Even this would be the same as rectangular matrix. Rectangular matrix. And what will be this called as? Okay, this is called as zero matrix. What is zero matrix? You guys, I'll just teach you about that. I guess I've not covered that in teaching part. So you can write the seventh type of the matrix, which is called as zero matrix. What is zero matrix, guys? Type 7. And that is called as zero matrix. What is zero matrix? Please update your notes, guys. Zero matrix is matrix where all the entries are zero. Where all entries where all entries are zero. Pick and all entries are zero, matlab it could be zero or it could be like these zeros. Are you understanding? These are called as zero matrix. I hope you understood this topic perfectly. Any doubts or difficulties? Do let me know immediately, guys. So we finished this question very nicely, and now it's time, guys, to move ahead in further chapter. So, what is this further chapter? What we're going to see in the next video, guys? I'll just write the topics over here. What we're going to see in the next topic? Something called as operations. We're going to learn in the next video. What are the operations? Operations like addition, when we can add, how to subtract, and then what is scalar multiplication. uh, then we will going to learn what is matrix into matrix into matrix, how to do that, and how, when it is possible and when it is not possible. Then we're going to learn something called as transpose of the matrix, transpose of matrix, transpose of matrix. Then we will going to learn something called as how to do power matrix, like square and cubes of matrix, square and cubes of matrix, cubes of matrix. So these are all the things we will going to see in the upcoming video, guys. And then we will going to do along with that plenty of sums. Okay, plenty of sums we can do so that you can understand this chapter very well, guys. ये बहुत easy chapter है, बहुत simple chapter है, and you can easily grab these all marks very easily in your pocket, guys. So see you in the next video with all these operations and these multiplications and the transform of the matrix we're going to learn. Okay, so till then, bye bye, take care.